In some houses, silence isn't peace. It's fear. Subscribe to Emo's Saga for dark, sensual romances where power shifts quietly, and nothing ends unfinished. Everyone in the house learns the rules before they learn the names. Don't look her in the eyes. Don't speak unless spoken to. And never, under any circumstance, touch anything she's touched. I learned them in the car on the way there. The driver doesn't look at me when he speaks. His hands stay locked at 10 and 2, knuckles white against the steering wheel as the iron gates of the mansion slide open. You'll be cleaning the east wing, he says. Stay out of her way. Who? I ask. He swallows. The boss's wife. The mansion rises from the hillside like something carved rather than built. Pale stone. Tall windows. Too quiet for a place that houses this much power. Inside, the air smells faintly of polish and cold marble. A woman in a black uniform meets me in the foyer. She doesn't smile. You're the new maid, she says flatly. Yes. She hands me an apron. You'll be invisible if you're smart. I nod. Then she lowers her voice. She doesn't like mistakes. They don't say her name. Not once. They don't need to. Everyone knows who she is. I see her for the first time from the top of the staircase. She's standing in the main hall, back straight, posture unyielding. A white woman in her early 30s, dressed in black silk, hair pinned so precisely it looks painful. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't have to. A maid drops a tray near her feet. The sound echoes. No one moves. The maid whispers an apology so fast it's barely audible. The boss's wife turns slowly. Her expression doesn't change. You were told, she says calmly, to carry it with both hands. I'm sorry. Pick it up, she says. The maid does. Her hands are shaking. I expect shouting. I expect cruelty. Instead, the woman steps closer, lowers her voice. You make this house look sloppy, she says. And when this house looks sloppy, my husband looks weak. She pauses. Do you understand? Yes, the maid whispers. Good, the woman replies. Go. The silence afterward is worse than yelling would have been. No one exhales until she leaves. That's her. The woman beside me murmurs. The boss's wife. I nod. But something doesn't sit right. Over the next few days, I watch. I clean quietly. I move carefully. I listen. The rules are absolute. She eats alone. She walks alone. She never repeats herself. No one argues. No one dares. They call her cruel. Heartless. Cold. But I notice something else. She never punishes mistakes that cost money. She only punishes mistakes that cost control. The boss himself is a ghost. They say he's away on business. That he trusts her completely. That this house is hers. The first rule I break is small, accidental, and apparently unforgivable. I'm polishing the long dining table when she enters without warning. I straighten instantly, eyes down. She stops beside me. What's your name? She asks. I hesitate. No one ever asks. Lena, I say quietly. There's a pause. She looks at me fully for the first time. Look at me when I speak to you, she says. The room tightens. Every maid freezes. I raise my eyes. Her gaze is sharp, assessing. Not angry. Curious. That's worse. You're new, she says. Yes. You weren't taught properly, she continues. Why are you touching the tablecloth with bare hands? I was told to finish quickly, I reply. The wrong answer. I know it as soon as it leaves my mouth. She steps closer. Close enough that I can smell her perfume. Something expensive and restrained. Who told you that? She asks softly. I hesitate. She notices. Her expression hardens. Speak, she says. The head maid, I answer. Silence stretches. Then, she smiles. Just a little. And every instinct in my body screams. I see, she says. You may go. Relief rushes through me. Too soon. Wait, she adds. I stop. Her voice drops. You'll finish here after dinner. Alone. A punishment. The head maid avoids my eyes. That night, the house empties. The staff retreats. I'm left with silence and chandeliers humming overhead. I scrub. I polish. I keep my head down. I don't hear her approach. I only feel it. Her presence. You should have blamed me, she says behind me. I turn slowly. She's standing in the doorway, arms crossed, expression unreadable. I didn't want to lie, I say. Her eyebrow lifts. That was a mistake. Maybe, I reply. But it was mine. The words hang between us. Dangerous. Too honest. She studies me for a long moment. Then she surprises me. She laughs. Once. Quietly. No one has ever laughed in this room. You don't tremble, she says. I do, I answer. I just don't let it decide for me. Her gaze sharpens. Something shifts. You're reckless, she says. Or I don't belong here long enough to be afraid. I reply. Silence again. Heavier this time. You'll stay, she says suddenly. Not a request. A decision. You'll work directly under me. My breath catches. That's not. Safe, she finishes. No. But neither am I. She steps closer. Low voice. You think people fear me because I'm cruel, she says. They don't. Then why? I ask. She meets my gaze. Because I don't forgive weakness. I don't look away. Neither do I say quietly. For the first time since I arrived. She doesn't look feared. She looks interested. And that terrifies me far more than her reputation ever could. Because I realize something too late. I didn't just break a rule. I caught the attention of the most dangerous woman in the house. And nothing in this mansion ever stays the same after that. The next morning, the house feels different. Not louder. Not calmer. More alert. Eyes follow me as I move through the east wing. Conversations stop when I pass. The other maids don't ask questions. They don't need to. News travels fast in places ruled by fear. I broke a rule. And instead of being dismissed, I was claimed. I'm summoned to her private sitting room just after noon. No escort. No warning. The room is stark compared to the rest of the mansion. Dark wood. Heavy curtains. No decorative softness. Everything here feels intentional. Defensive. She's standing by the window when I enter, hands clasped behind her back. Close the door, she says. I do. The sound echoes louder than it should. You slept? She asks without turning. Yes. Good, she says. Weak people don't rest well. I don't know if it's an insult or an observation. She finally faces me. Up close, I see what everyone else misses. The control isn't arrogance. It's vigilance. She doesn't rule this house because she enjoys cruelty. She rules it because she's never been allowed to relax. You've been watching me, she says. So have you, I reply. A pause. Then a nod. Fair. She gestures to a chair. I don't sit until she does. That earns me another long look. You don't belong here, she says. I know. And yet you don't shrink. I've done that before, I answer. It doesn't work. She studies my face, searching for something. Fear, ambition, deceit. She finds none of it. That unsettles her. My husband chose me because I don't break, she says suddenly. I stay quiet. He didn't want love, she continues. He wanted stability. Silence. Loyalty. Her mouth tightens. And I gave him all of it. This is the first time she's spoken of him like this. Not as a title. As a man. They think I'm cruel, she says. But cruelty is loud. I'm not. No, I agree. You're careful. Her eyes flicker. They fear me because I don't let this house weaken, she says. Because weakness invites blood. The words are matter of fact. Not dramatic. Truth, spoken without apology. I don't need your sympathy, she adds sharply. I wasn't offering it, I reply. Her lips curve faintly. You're dangerous, she says. So are you. Yes, she agrees softly. But I'm trained. She stands abruptly, pacing once before stopping in front of me. You broke the rules, she says. Why? I don't hedge. Because they weren't about order, I reply. They were about obedience. Her jaw tightens. I don't fear you. I continue. But I respect you. There's a difference. The room goes very still. No one has ever said that to me, she says quietly. Then they've been lying, I answer. She looks at me for a long time. Then she does something no one in this house ever expects. She sits. Heavily. As if something finally allowed her to stop standing guard. You think you changed something, she says. I think something was already broken, I reply. I just didn't pretend it wasn't. That night, the boss returns. The mansion tightens around his arrival like a held breath. I see him only once, from a distance. Tall, cold-eyed, every movement measured. He doesn't look at me, but he notices me. Later, I'm called to the dining room. Only 2 chairs are set. She sits at one. He sits at the other. I stand at the wall. She's the one, she says without preamble. His gaze cuts to me. She broke protocol, he says. Yes, his wife replies. And survived it. He studies me. You're not afraid, he says. I am, I answer. I just don't kneel. Silence. Then, he laughs. Once. Low. Dangerous. She stays, his wife says. It isn't a request. It's a line drawn. The weeks that follow are strange. The house softens, but only in small ways. People still fear her, but they begin to understand her. Mistakes are corrected, not punished. Whispers replace trembling. And then, everything fractures. The boss is arrested at dawn. Not loudly. Not violently. Just removed. The gates open. The silence shatters. She stands in the foyer as men in suits walk past her like she's already invisible. Her face doesn't change. But her hands do. They shake. I step forward. Not as a maid. As a witness. It's over, I say quietly. She exhales for the first time in years. I know, she whispers. The house empties over the next week. Staff dismissed. Rooms sealed. Power evaporates. On the final night, she sits alone in the sitting room. No guards. No silk. Just a woman who survived something monstrous. You can leave, she tells me. You don't owe me anything. I know, I reply. I don't move. They'll say I was cruel, she says. They'll forget what I prevented. I won't, I answer. She looks at me then. Really looks. You didn't change the house, she says. No, I reply. You did. I just made you stop pretending you were alone. The next morning, we walk out together. No titles. No hierarchy. Just two women no longer defined by fear. Years later, people still whisper about the mansion. About the Mafia boss's wife. About the maid who broke the rules. They get it wrong. The truth is simpler. Fear ruled that house until someone stopped obeying it. And the most feared woman in the mansion? She was never the villain. She was the one holding the walls up. Until she no longer had to.